Hi everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Thanks for joining us for the 2022 Year in Review webinar. And here we'll take a closer look at some of the most impactful and innovative features introduced to iServer 365 over the past 12 months. So some of you may recognize me. My name is Saleha, and I'm a Customer Success Manager here at Orbus. Today I'll be presenting with my colleague Harry and a few other members from our product team. Okay, so before I pass over to Harry and the team to introduce the product team, I'll quickly run you through what we'll be covering in today's webinar. So we're going to focus most of our time today on some of the major functional enhancements delivered this year. We'll then give you a preview of what's coming this month in December and in Q1 next year. And then finally, we'll take a pause to review any questions submitted throughout the webinar, which should take us to the end of today's session. So over to you, Harry, to introduce the team.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Saleha. So I'm joined today by three of our product management team who are going to help take us through some of the new features. Each one looks after a different value stream of the product and all the associated capabilities with that, and that's what you can see there on the slides in front of you. As well as presenting today, they'd all love to talk to you and hear more about your particular problems and challenges, your ideas. We'd love to work with you more on curating and improving our roadmap and developing the product. So please feel free to reach out to any of them with emails there. And at the end, we'll also show you our roadmap portal, which is also a great way of engaging with the team. Okay, so if we start just by introducing to you how we think of the product, and I should fess up here, we've had a slight technical issue, so I'm no longer in control of the slides, so I'm trying to coordinate with a colleague in the next room. So if it's a bit jerky with the slide advancements, that's why, bear with us, but hopefully we'll be okay. But this is a bit of a diagram that just describes how it is we think of the capabilities of the product and what we think is really important within the product. Three pillars here. Starts with building a digital blueprint. So this is all about your digital representation of your business to understand the baseline of what your company looks like. So capabilities that are important in here is being really easy to populate the repository, easy to enrich that repository with data from other places, whether that's from integrating with systems, importing from spreadsheets, or crowdsourcing from stakeholders throughout the business, and then putting it all together into a modeled view driven very much by the architecture team. Then it's about cutting through the chaos. So starting with some best practice, some method about how are you going to approach depending on the outcome that you're after. So this is things like some of our framework support, some of our best practice that we share within our knowledge base, coupled with tools to allow you to explore the data. So here we're thinking about visualizations, about lists, about reports and analytics. And then increasingly, we want to be talking about more proactive insights. So this is where we're looking to build intelligence into the platform. They can actually look at your data and start making recommendations to you. So rather than you just having to upload a lot of data, do a lot of analysis yourself, how can we shortcut some of those steps? And I hope we're going to be talking to you more about that next year, particularly. Then once we've done some analysis, we've identified some opportunities, starting to model collaboratively what that change might look like and compare different options to allow us to get to a point of recommendation and understanding where the business should go. Then some governance around that, reviewing and approving changes with other stakeholders and through whatever your governance process is, and being able to share and present those changes around the business so everybody knows what's going on and they're able to have good access to information. So we're not going to be able to go through absolutely everything we've delivered this year because there's been quite a lot, I'm pleased to say. But we've just picked out a few kind of key features that we feel are important. So starting on that first pillar, some improvements to our Excel import, really critical capability. Lots and lots of customers come to us with spreadsheets, and often that is the first place they start. We've had lots of feedback from you about ways we can improve that. So we've been actioning that, and that's now a much better tool than it was before. Also the REST API, Lots of customers looking to use that to build custom integrations, interactions with other products, extending the platform in various ways. So again, we've been continuing to enhance its capability and also providing more materials to better enable you and your teams to use it. And then finally, we've been continuing to improve our Visio integration. Lots of little bits here we probably won't cover, but I'll show you where you can find out more about those. But we do want to show you one of the enhancements we've made to navigating Visio diagrams online. On the next pillar, we've improved some of the filters to allow you to narrow down the data sets that you're using within views, and we've released a new report pack around risk management. And then finally, two great new features, one around object merge. So very useful feature just around data management, so getting rid of duplicates, but also particularly in this context around if you've been modeling what change might look like, evolving what the information around an object, then being able to merge that back into your baseline once you've made a decision. And then finally, we're going to finish up with a demo of a great new feature called Export from Word, which lets you export repository content into Word documents, surround it with contextual information, and build templates of architecture artifacts to collaborate on with other people within the business. So we'll have a good look at what that can do now. And then finally, we'll have a bit of a sneak peek at some of the releases that are coming up next. Okay, so if we start on with that digital blueprint pillar, I'm now going to be joined by our product manager for data integration, Rashmi, who's going to take us through some of the changes here. Hey, Rashmi.
Thanks, Harry. Hi, everyone. I'm Rashmi, product manager managing data integrations value stream here at Orbus, based in London. As the most important data exchange format used by organization, we heard some of the challenges you were having when importing the data with the Excel importer. In the first half of this year, we have done lots of work to improve the error messaging, performance improvements, and usability in import process, and accelerate the time to get value from iServer 365. Some of the enhancements are listed here, and thanks for sharing positive feedbacks as well as suggestions for data import improvement process. Really helpful. So in this quick demo, I just used the selection workbook and the entire workbook just to show the when the file passes the error messages which we added. So here we see when the file passes successfully, it shows which objects are imported. And the other way, just wanted to show you the failure messages, that if the file fails, so that it helps in correction of the Excel file. So once it's imported, and say if there is an error, it helps us take a decision. So, and a link of knowledge base, and we enhanced with the FAQ also with some of the frequently asked that what is the Excel version or why this error has been happened. So happy to get more feedbacks around this. So next I would like to share the enhancements of REST API, what we did this year. We strongly believe that positioning your EA platform at the center of your enterprise ecosystem can really drive value by increasing the level of insights in your decisions. When set up in a meaningful way, these integrations with other platforms enrich the repository with specialist information and builds a clear picture of what you have and the impact of the change. So we added, reordered, and documented more details in the 365 REST API with first set of enhancement through STAT in Swagger documentation. They are also available in knowledge base, the links and documents. Some of the enhancements are listed here. Other API enhancement in next quarter and the year, and looking forward to know more of your integration use cases and suggestions. So thanks for that. I will move to Visio Online. Quick update around Visio. So as we all know, the Visio Online is primarily a viewing platform where users aim to explore diagrams and detailed elements of these. So one area which has been confusing for users is around how objects which represent a process are linked to the diagram, which actually defines it. So just in this quick video, the work we did was to simplify the navigations. So we provided an intuitive way of navigating from a shape on the canvas to the another diagram, capturing history of this navigation and a detailed view of each available link for the better context. So what we improved was the overlay menu for the link diagrams navigations. And by selecting one of the items in this list, the user is navigated to the link diagrams, and a breadcrumb bar is there at the top of the diagram, which provides an interactive like history, navigation history. And new links tab on the right menu bar can be now expanded to provide greater detail of each of the items. So this improvement now allows users to drill through the hierarchy, navigating complex flows which are segmented into separate levels so that necessary data is presented at one time. By creating more intuitive usability, we are not only addressing here the direct needs of EA current users, but also we wanted to show the progress to in the platform usage, a wider, less tech savvy or limited diagram audience for improved data and information accessibility. So that was a quick update for the Visio Online. I will give it back to Harry. Wishing you all a happy Christmas and happy New Year. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Rashmi. If you've got any questions on any of that, or indeed any of the topics that come up later, do use the question facility on the GoToWebinar, and we'll come to those at the end as well. Or by all means, get in touch with any of the PMs. Great, so we're now going to move over to that second pillar, and now I'm going to be joined by Irina, who's going to take us through some of those new filters and reports that we've been putting in place. Hi, Irina.
Hi, my name's Irina Langley. I'm the product manager for the Enterprise Architecture Foundation team. The EA Foundations team manage meta model and model data, and we aim to optimize the data structures so that our customers can manage their data in the most efficient way. The huge volume of enterprise data capable of being surfaced in iServer 365 makes it a powerful tool. But as they say, with great power comes great responsibility. So with our purpose to always make our software easy to use and to delight our customers, at the start of this year, we have made improvements. So it's now easier to identify repository items that are not being used in any documents and do not have any relationships assigned to them, so that you may filter based on the type of lead object or member objects. You can show yourself all items without any relationships, or see all items not used in any documents. And if we go to the next slide, thank you. There will be a video here showing filter enhancements. So with the platform, we have enhanced our view filter with the ability to extract a relationship data set based on a lead or member object type. So you can now create a view with all the flow relationships created in a model and only extract the ones related to applications as a member or lead. This enhancement allows you to quickly see what objects will need updating or deleting, ensuring that the completeness of data in repositories is maintained to a high standard. So in this demo, this video, we show you how you can filter based on the type of the lead object or member objects. Show me all items without any relationships, see all items not used in any document. And lastly, for me, I'm going to talk to you about report packs, and this is fantastic. These are available for all tiers. So these report packs, by surfacing information from your enterprise data, we help you cut through the chaos by providing out-of-the-box insights to risk management, empowering transformative decision-making for your enterprise, factoring in the business and operational risks essential to consider as one of the dimensions driving transformative decision making. And the benefits is the foundational risk pack with dedicated attributes to extend your current environment in order to capture or synchronize risk information. You can get high level and detailed visibility into the risks identified across the architecture landscape and understand the risk assessment and target risk, their impact on business, applications, capabilities, processes, projects, and the controls in place to remediate. And you can bring in risk information from OneTrust and use with your visualizations. These are really quite great. And that leads me
Yeah,
to
brilliant.
our next.
Yeah, I was going to pause that very quickly, just say brilliant to see those new reports. I think we've also added this year a customer journey map report to quite a large library of other reports that, and we know they're not always as visible as they could be, but there's a lot there. So if you're interested in more about what reports there, what might you be able to make use of, do have a look in the knowledge base and you'll see lists within there, or talk to your CSM or account manager and they'd be delighted to take you through it. Cool. Okay, so we're going to continue on to the third pillar, and I think Irina, you're going to stay with us, right, for the next feature.
Hi, everyone. Again, when managing change in large organizations, Object Merge will help your teams rationalize their data easily. So one important thing, one common problem when modeling with a team of many people is that two people sometimes create the same object. It's therefore a useful feature to be able to merge objects with the option of overwrite target or source, merging the objects into one, or maybe merging one object back into the baseline, and replacing instances in diagrams and combining relationships with other objects. This functionality facilitates rationalization of objects when working in large teams. And next we have a demo for you. So here, this video demonstrates object merge with attribute value selection so that there's a granular level of control on your data when you merge objects. When I click on two objects and merge them, you will see that the user is presented with the various attribute values that can be selected. And when I select the preferred attribute to keep, by selecting its radio button, as you see here, I can then demonstrate that this value is indeed saved and merged. This is very helpful for rationalizing your data set and helping you merge back into your baseline. So as you see here, you can see that this is merged back. And demonstrate the changes.
Fantastic, thanks, Irina. And I think that feature also covers relationships, right? It's not just attributes now.
Attributes and relationships, that's correct.
Brilliant. So yeah, if you've not seen that yet, have a look out for that little button and please give that a go. Cool. Thank you very much, Irina. We're now going to have a look at export for Word. So I'm going to bring in Carolina, who's our product manager for business engagement, to tell us what it's all about. Oh, we can't hear you, Carolina. No.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sorted.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. Hi everyone. My name is Carolina. I'm a product manager for business engagement here at Orbus. So now let's have a look at how we can share information with our new expert for Word. So the new Words add-in allows you really to insert the repository information into the Word document and surround that data with context. So that could be any images or text. Then these documents can be shared and findings discussed and modified. Examples of such documents could be quarterly reports, strategy documents, decision blueprints, or any other ad hoc reports. So essentially with this Words add-in, we can insert and refresh iServer data, create simple placeholders for attributes, and then refresh that data. So now let's have a look how this works in practice. Great. So first we have to install the Words add-in. It can be quickly done through the Word store. So going to Office add-ins, adding the add-in, and then logging in with your iServer credential to be able to use the full functionality. Once you log in, you can start using it with no problems. Did the video pause? Yeah, great. So yeah, as an architect, you can see I have already created a document template with some text and different information that will always stay the same. And now I'm creating a placeholder. So in other words, an attribute template for the name of an object, so the name for our report. Then later it can be reused and populated with different data. So exactly what I'm doing right now, selecting specific solutions and models and searching for an object that I want to use the values from. Later on, this can be replaced or populated with different value. So we added that data. It can be then modified using the word's capability. So modifying the font styles, etc. And as it's a Word document and we want to create a proper report, we can add any contextualized information, data such as date, names, or any extra information we want to surround our iServer information. The next step would be to add data from our repository. So we have already added executive summary and mission statement as free text. And the next step would be to add a list of ideation solutions. So that means we want to add a list view from our repository. So just selecting a proper solution, then having all the list views from iServer, and then after selection, we can insert it to the document. The next step would be to add related items of an object, so to show direct relationships of applications. So the first step is to add an actual attribute to indicate what object we're referring to. So we're selecting an object and the attribute, which in this case is a name. So we know we're referring to this object so that we can add related items to that specific object. So that can be easily done by just specifying the model and solution, then searching for exactly the same object, picking it from the list. And the next step will be the list of all the related items it has. We're just interested in a specific type, so we can filter with a type, as we're in this instance interested just in application. So we can filter it and add all the related items that are of an application type to our document. Another important functionality that we can do and is quite useful are basic traceability views, is to illustrate indirect relationships of objects, so that again we can just search for a specific traceability view that we have in our iServer 365, select it, and then additionally we can further specify which object we'd like to include. So what I'm doing right now, selecting specific objects I'm interested in. Afterwards, the lower levels will be preloaded and pre-selected, but I can further modify what I want to see, whether to see all of it on each level, specific ones, or I'm not interested in some of them. Afterwards, we can see that's a table that indicates the indirect relationships of objects and shows how they interrelate. Another very useful thing to do is to add Visio diagrams. To do that, we have to go to the iServer, find the Visio diagram, copy the file path, and then search for it in the Word add-in so that we can insert it to our Word document. It is added as a screenshot, so we can further modify it, change the size, position it in the right place, just like any photo in any picture in a Word document. So in this way, we have just created a document that includes a Visio diagram, traceability views, related items of an object, a simple list view, and it is surrounded with contextualized information in the form of text and images, like logos, for instance. This document now can be saved, can be shared with wider audience, with different business stakeholders, so that we can communicate our decisions, but also get their feedback. So let's now imagine I have shared that with a business stakeholder who has to go through it and approve the changes and add any comments, thoughts, or ideas for a change. So like in this example, let's imagine I'm a business stakeholder who goes through the document and spots some improvements, leaves a comment, what needs to be done, checks the rest of the document. Well, here it seems like the list view is fine. Then here we have related items, and it could be that there is some discrepancy in the data, that some modifications are needed, that extra work is required. So in this instance, for instance, I'm leaving a comment that, well, there's a related item that is missing in this table, needs to be added. In this moment, the business stakeholder, if they have access to iServer and they can log in to the add-in, they can add it or update it themselves, but they can also leave a comment and ask other people to do it for them, or just to collaborate with others to share their thoughts and ideas for future improvements. So once the feedback is given, I'm sharing it back with an architect who's a primary person who creates documents, and then they can try to improve the document based on the feedback. So right now, I'm replacing the attribute value. So because we used a placeholder for the attribute, and now I'm just replacing it with different value for another object to make it right. So it's just a simple search for a correct attribute. Once it is found, we can select it, and once we confirm the changes, it will be replaced with the proper value, just like right now. So this change has been done. We can modify and update data in the entire document. So going and looking for next comments to see what else is needed to be done. Here we need to add a related item to this object. And to do so, we have to go to the iServer and add a related item, so modify the data in the iServer first. So we're going to content, looking for the specific object for which we added the related items in our Word document. Going to the related tab, we see exactly all of the related items. In a Word document, we have just added the application type of those items. And right now, we have to add an item of the same kind with a specific relationship and model. So yeah, adding the item, adding the name, and then the changes should be saved on iServer 365. Once it's added, we can update it from the Word document. So let's see, the item is being added right now, so that we can go back to the Word document and update the changes from there. To do so, we can refresh the Word document. So either way, all the data, or we can select a specific component for which we want to refresh the data and update it to the latest version. So now it's being refreshed and the new related item is being added, and we see exactly the same view as in the iServer. So that's being updated. Yeah, so now we can check if there's anything else that we need to do, and in this way we have created a document that can be now shared with other people to communicate our decisions, or saved for future reference or for auditing or any other reason we might need to keep this information for later. Yeah, that's it. I would encourage everyone to go and try the Words add-in and try and test it how it works for you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Carolina. Really good demo. Super cool to see you browsing through repository content from a Word doc. Anything people need to be able to access that? Any particular permissions or anything?
No, not at the moment. You can go add the add-in in the Word and use it for now. Later on, it might change. That it could be an extra module, but for now it's available for all. So we encourage everyone to test it out.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, definitely be aware that that could well become a premium module in the future. But at this early stage, we'd love you to all go and try it out, evaluate it, give us some feedback. Fantastic. Thank you, Carolina. Right, let's have a quick look at what's coming next. Firstly, I would point you towards our Roadmap and Innovation portal. If you've not seen this yet, you can access it probably most easily from the support resources menu within the product. So just on the box on the left, that's within the web app of i7 365. Click the little question mark, and it's your last link will take you into it. Here's where you'll see everything that we've launched recently. So lots of stuff that we've not had time to talk about today. You'll find details in there. So that's things like integration with Lucidchart, Orbus Hive, which is our new learning experience platform. So in there you can find lots of e-learning courses, certifications for using the product. So some great training resources to get the most out of the product. Support for TOGAF 10. There's a new customer journey map report, support for special characters, and lots and lots of other things. So that's where you'll find a lot of the detail along with the product update section in the knowledge base. But also in this portal, you'll be able to see what's coming up. So along with the tabs along the top, you can see what it is we're building at the moment. So it's going to be coming in releases fairly imminently. And then the things, there's a longer list of things we're thinking about that we're still sort of in evaluation and discovery stage. And we'd love you to input into the process at both times. So you can have a real impact on what it is we choose to prioritize by coming in here, looking at the things in that under consideration list, voting on the ones that are important to you, and telling us a little bit more about why those are important. You know, that will help us make our choices about where we look at next. And at any time, give us detail about what you would look for from a particular feature, and that'll really help make sure we get it right first time. If you can't find in there an idea that you're thinking about, something that would help you out, then hit the green button in the top right and just submit a new idea. And we'd love to see those as well. You'll often find PMs will come back to you and ask questions, or would love to jump on a call. So great way of engaging with the team through there as well. If we just go to the next slide, we'll have a look at some of the what to expect in some of the next releases that are coming up. So hopefully before the end of the year, still a few more things to come to squeeze out of 2022. And in fact, I think the first one here has now landed in most people's environments. So you may need to see a new button on list views that is a bulk edit button. So bulk edit's been a really commonly requested feature for some time that we've been working on this quarter, and the first release of it is now here. So that allows you to do bulk editing of text attributes, and then in January we'll follow that up with being able to bulk edit all attributes. We've also got first release of recently done a first release of a theme around meta model usability. So this is all about making the meta model and indeed the product feel much more your own for both your architects and your stakeholders. So you can put display names now on object types. So if you refer to something with slightly different terminology to what we do, that's fine. You can now change that. We'll be extending that so you can change more things names in the future, and also allowing you to hide any elements that you're not actually using. APIs had some updates to the Swagger documentation. So this is a sort of interactive documentation to allow you to understand what the API does. So that's getting a bit stronger, and we can continue improving those guides in the new year. And then we've also started a quite a big new feature on intersectional relationships. So this is being able to model a relationship to really describe more about that relationship. So you might use it around integration architecture to describe the sort of data flows, what's moving within the integration between two applications, as an example, but lots more uses of it. So very first release of that coming this month, allowing you to start configuring that, and then quite a bit more coming in Q1 to really extend that throughout the product. Few other bits there to look out for. Hopefully most of you now see the product update email. So this goes out monthly and is another good way to see the changes that are happening. One thing just to flag that we've put on that email a few times, but is very nearly here, is landscape views. We've had it in early access with a few customers over the last couple of months, and in January we want to push it out to all customers. That will go to a general availability release. If we just jump forward to the next slide, we've just got a little preview of it here just to show you what to expect when that lands. You may need to hit play on this one. Yeah, great, there we go. So new view type will show on the right, and you can either create using a sort of simple wizard or through templates for common use cases. So in this case, I think we're looking at an application by capability view. The view allows you to create effectively a nested hierarchy type landscape. So we've got 4 levels here of hierarchy, looking at applications nested by capability. And then we can start to put some conditional formatting on those to color code them based on attribute values that they've got. These diagrams can be quite big, but you can also toggle off some of the layers of the hierarchy to make them a little bit smaller. You can change the layout of them, drag them around, but very dynamic, very easy to interact with and use as a data exploration tool. And there we are, then changing the filter to format it based on a different attribute value there. Obviously, you can click through to any of the objects and see the data behind it. Definitely more we want to do on this feature, building filters, other types of capability to it, but we think it's now getting kind of useful enough that we'd love to get it into your hands and let you start to have a look at that. Okay, I think we're now ready to move to some questions. So Leah, have you been tracking the questions that have been coming up?
Yeah, we've had a few questions come through. I can read these out, maybe 1 or 2, just time pending. So the first is with the, bear with me, let me just bring my list back up, it's just disappeared. So for the risk report, is that available in the Solutions Hub is the first question. And on that topic as well, do we need to extend Core EA meta model when deploying the risk insights report pack? If so, where do we find information for this?
So yes, it is in the Solutions Hub. You may not have access to it yet, depending on your package. So I'd probably start with talking to your CSM or account manager, and they would be able to guide you on how you can access that. And indeed, any prerequisites like extending the meta model. Most of those reports will do that automatically when you provision it. So, but we can certainly guide you when we talk about
that. Thanks, Harry. And another question is, do we have a more forward-looking view of our roadmap for 2023, please?
Great question. Yeah, what a setup. So yes, we're going to do another webinar in Q1 that is going to be much more forward-looking. So to give you a longer-term view of what we're looking at in 23 and indeed beyond, we'd like to be talking about as well. So yeah, please look out for that. That'll be the opportunity to see that longer-term view.
Fantastic. And for let me just bring up the question again. For faster views, Harry, is that applicable only for list views, or does that include matrix, traceability, and visualizations as well?
Yeah, good question. No, so it's the sort of engine behind all of our views. So it's how we sort of pull data out of the system, if you like, to then represent it. However we do that. So yes, it should have an impact on all of those.
And I guess we've got time for one more question. So when is the new landscape view feature expected to be available? I think you covered that, but because I know it's going to be a popular feature, it may be worth just reiterating.
Yeah, sure. So early January, we did look at doing it before Christmas, but we thought lots of people being away, we'll wait and we'll do it first thing in the new year. So yeah, you should see that in January.
Super, fantastic. I think that's almost us at time. So we have received other questions, so we will follow up on these separately. So either your customer success manager or account manager will be reaching out to you with answers to those questions. And that just leaves me just to remind you that we will be sending a link to this webinar in the next couple of days. So it will be available on Hive, which is our learning platform, and also on YouTube. So do look out for those. So that leaves us to say a big thank you for your time today. We hope you found today's session useful, and we wish you a good rest of the day. Thank you.
Thanks very much.